Hello, this is Algebra 2, Lesson 38, and this lesson covers powers of sums, solving by factoring, and only 0 equals 0. Alright, so the first one asks us to expand. Now, normally, when we have parentheses, we would just rainbow something out, but on this we cannot, because this means, what this actually means is x plus 3, right, times x plus 3 times x plus 3. Okay, so we have to do that whole thing, then rainbow it. We can't just say x to the third and 3 to the third. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so what we have to do is do 2 of them first and then multiply what we get by the answer. So we're going to do x plus 3 times x plus 3, and we're going to rainbow this. X times x will be x squared. X times 3 would be 3x, and then x times 3 right here would be another 3x, and then 3 times 3 would be 9, and then we would add those two together, so we get x squared plus our like terms right there. 3 and 3 is 6x plus 9. Then we have to multiply this whole thing times another x plus 3. Okay, so right here we did 1, 2. There's those. And now our third. It's right there. Okay. Alright, so we're going to rainbow here. X times x squared would be x to the third. X times 6x would be plus 6x squared. And then x times 9 would be plus 9x. Then we'd need 3 times x squared, so that'd be plus 3x squared. And all I'm doing is writing it next to the x that has the same power, so I'm putting my like terms together. 3 times 6x, 3 times 6 is 18, so that'd be plus 18x. And then 3 times 9 is 27. Now I'm just going to add up my like terms, so I've got x to the third plus 3 and 6 will be 9x squared. And then 18 plus 9, let's see, 8, 9, 16, 17, 27x plus 27. So that would be your answer right there. So when you have something cubed, you're going to start with a third, a cube term, and you're going to end up with no x on that last one. No variable on the last one, with a squared term and a 1x term in there as well. Alright, this one wants us to solve. So for this one, I'm going to rearrange that and try to factor it. So solving by factoring. So I've got negative x plus x squared equals 6. I have to rearrange this into something that I'm more used to seeing. So I'm going to do minus 6 over here and make this side be 0. Okay, so I'm trying to get 0 on one side. And then I'm going to just rearrange these. So I've got x squared minus x minus 6. Now I can factor this. Alright, so I'm going to put an x at the beginning of each of these. Now I need two numbers that when I multiply them I get 6. Let's see, that could be, and then I need to get negative 1. I could do 3 times 2. 3 times 2, and negative 3 and positive 2 would make that negative 1 right there. And that equals 0. Now I can take each factor and set it equal to 0. So x minus 3 is equal to 0. And x plus 2 is equal to 0. And now I can solve for x. So what's x going to be? If x minus 3 equals 0. So pretty easy. I just go, so you get my pen back here. Plus 3, those are going to cancel, and I'm going to get x equals 3. This one I'm going to do minus 2, and I'm going to get x equals negative 2. So the two solutions for this are 3 and negative 2. Alright, I think there's another one we can do. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to rearrange this. So I've got negative 35x equals negative 2x squared minus x to the third. Alright, I am going to move both of these terms over. So I'm going to say plus 2x squared and plus x to the third. Okay, this is all going to cancel. I'm going to get 0 on that side. And then I'm going to have x to the third plus 2x squared minus 35x. Okay, so before I can factor this, I noticed that all of these have an x in common, so I can go ahead and factor out an x. And then I'm going to have x squared plus 2x minus 35. Now I can factor those, so I'll have an x, and then I'll have my parentheses. Right, and then an x at the beginning of each of these, and then I need two numbers that when I multiply I get 35. The only factors of 35 that would end up with 2 would be 7 times 5 is 35, and if I did 7 minus 5 I would get 2. So 7 times 5, and I need that to be negative and that to be positive for it to work out to be positive 2. Alright, so now I have 3 factors that I can set equal to 0. Each one of these factors right here, boom, boom, and boom, I set each of those equal to 0. So I have x equals 0. That one's already, we don't have to solve that one at all. Then I have x plus 7 equals 0, and I have x minus 5 equals 0. So to solve these, I would just say minus 7 on both sides, and I get x equals negative 7. And this one I do plus 5, and I would get x equals 5. So our 3 solutions are 0, negative 7, and 5. Those are the 3 things that x can equal. If we solve the following 2 equations by factoring, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Solve both of these by factoring. So this first one, it's already in the right order for us. We can pull out x first, and we would have x squared plus 2x minus 35. And then we would put our x there. This is the one we just did, I think. This will be 7 times 5 is 35. So we would have x, and we would have 7 and 5. And our 7 is positive and our 5 is negative. And those are, when we set those equal to 0, we're going to have x equals 0. X plus 7 equals 0, and x minus 5 equals 0, right? And that means that our answers would be 0. We just changed the sign on this, so minus 7, right? So negative 7, and this one plus 5, right? X equals 5 would be 5. So there's the solution set for that one. 0, negative 7, and 5. Now I'm going to do the same thing over here. Let's see, I can go, I can factor out 2 out of there, right? So I can pull 2 out of this whole thing, and then I'll have x squared plus 2 into 4 would be 2x, and then half of 70 will be minus 35. Right, so that's basically the same thing as over here. So I'd say 2 times, got an x there and an x there, and then 5 times 7, and that would be positive, and that would be negative, equals 0. So right here we would have, alright, so when we look at this, it says in both cases we have the product of 3 factors equal to 0. And it would appear that each equation has 3 roots. In equation A, we can set each of the factors equal to 0 to find the solution. We did that. It's 0, negative 7, and 5, right? Right there. Alright, but equation B is different because although it has 3 factors, only 2 of the factors can ever be equal to 0. X plus 7 can equal 0, right? And we do minus 7, and we get x equals negative 7. And the other factor would be x minus 5 equals 0. We can do that, plus 5, and we get x equals 5, right? But the number 2 can never be equal to 0 right here. So right here we said we had an x, and we said x is equal to 0. Right here we can't say 2 equals 0 because 2 can never equal 0, right? The number 2 only ever equals the number 2. So this one really only has 2 solutions, even though we pulled out 3 factors, because 2 cannot equal 0 right there. Right? So our answers are negative 7 and 5. so just be careful on that. All right, go ahead and pause the video and work the practice problems, and then I'll work them for you. All right, so this first one asks us to expand, and it's a cube right there, so it's x plus 2. So we need to do x plus 2 3 times. So we're going to start by multiplying 2 of them together. So x plus 2 times x plus 2, and we're going to get x times x is x squared. X times 2 would be 2x. 2 times x would be another 2x. And then 2 times 2 is 4. Then when we put our like terms together, we're going to get x squared plus 2 and 2 right here would be 4x plus 4. All right, now we have to multiply this whole thing times our other x plus 2. All right, so then we're going to get x to the third plus 4x squared plus 4x, and then here we're going to have 2 times x squared, so plus 2x squared. 2 times 4x would be 8x, and then 2 times 4 is 8. Then we're going to put our like terms together, so we're going to have x to the third. 4 and 2 would be 6x squared. 8 and 4 would be 12x plus 8. And that is the answer to that one. This first part you might be able to figure out just to say multiply it for your last term here, and then add 2 and 2 for your middle term. But then you really need to go ahead and rainbow out the rest of it. All right, B set asks us to solve, so what we're going to do is we're going to move this over and move that over, plus x to the third. All right, all that's going to cancel out, and we're going to get equals 0. Over here, we're going to have x to the third minus 16x squared minus 36x. We can go ahead and factor an x out of that. So we're going to have x squared minus 16x minus 36. All right, and then we'll bring down our x, and then we're going to have 2 groupings here, 2 factors. X at the beginning. Now we need numbers that when we multiply them, we get 36, and we add them, we get 16. So we'd have 1 and 36, and then we could have 2 times, let's see, half of 30 is 15, half of 6 is 3, 18. We could have 3 times 12. I'm looking for 16. I bet it's this one, 2 and 18. 18 minus 2 would be 16. Yeah, because that would be 15 right there. If we added them, subtracted them, it wouldn't even come near it. It's going to be 2 and 18. 18. All right, and then I need it to be a negative number when I subtract. So my negative is going to go on the big one, and my positive is going to go on the small one. All right, so if I said negative 18 and positive 2, I'm going to get negative 16. And then 2 times 18 would be 36. All right, that does that. But we're not done. Now we have to set these all equal to 0, right? Because that equals 0. So x equals 0. X plus 2, let's see, x plus 2 equals 0. So minus 2 minus 2, x equals negative 2. So let's fix this. And then x minus 18 equals 0, so plus 18 plus 18. I'm really just changing the sign on these. X equals 18. So your answer is 0, negative 2, 18. Just like that. All right, that is it for lesson 38. Thanks for watching.